Did you know the 2.3.3 update went live on beta today on Steam? No sector update yet, but the patch notes are in the description below, so check that out and give Paradox some constructive feedback if you can, especially if you can play and see how it's turning out. Hello Legion, this is Hadrian. Thank you for being here. Let's play some more Stellaris Ancient Relics in our Roma Galactica 2.5 series. Brand new, well, kind of brand new series. Another thing that I want to say really quickly as I kick off this episode, because this is a really popular frequent question that I get whenever I'm playing Space Rome on the channel, particularly my breed of Space Rome. And so maybe folks that haven't seen the beginning of Roma Galactica 1 or 2 and read about the lore of this Roman Star Empire don't know this. And it's a really good question. It doesn't bother me, but it comes up a lot. The reason that this is called Earth and not Terra is that this is not a Rome never fell scenario. Fictionally speaking, this is a resurgent Rome scenario. So in this timeline that we're looking at, obviously it's 2306 right now, but this is still our timeline. And when I say our timeline, I mean you, me, everyone living in the world right now. This is a fictional future in which the world we're in today that knows the planet as Earth collapses, and then Rome kind of is reborn in the rubble and then goes out and becomes the Roman Star Empire. So that's why it's still known as Earth. It's kind of a synergy of modern society and ancient Roman tradition, and one thing that's stuck from our version of things is the planet's name. So there's that for those of you who might have been curious. So it's going to take a second for me to unpause this episode because there's a lot of minutia that I want to work through based on feedback that I got in a few key comments, and you guys are going to appreciate this by the time I'm done. So first things first, let's just go through a few notifications. We did finish mineral purification hubs. We have, oh, you know what? Habitat as an option. That reminds me, one thing I didn't look at. I did look at this in the first episode, but I didn't look at our Ascension Perks. You might have seen them, but I didn't actually mouse over them and take a look. So we have Interstellar Dominion, which helped us expand more quickly early on. Imperial Prerogative, which boosted our administrative capacity. We're still way over cap, so as we research more tech options to boost that, that will help improve our economy and reduce all of those massive penalties you can see in the third section of that tooltip. And then, of course, we have Voidborn. And the reason I went for that fairly quickly is because I want to unlock the ability to build mega structures as soon as possible, because that would just be fun. So that's something that we have coming up. I think before I research habitats, though, I would like to go ahead and research one of these smaller options. Do I have any down here that are really close? Ooh, yeah, got a few. Crystal-infused plating and autocannon. Let's go for the crystal-infused plating, because we've already got a number of research points sunk into that. It's going to be 11 months away, same as our habitability boost, which will help with production, and 9 months from an energy credit from technicians boost. Speaking of that, let's go to the next big tip, probably the biggest tip that I received. We had that issue, and we're still having it, with this wild job economy fluctuation where, according to MadChem23, I really appreciate you taking the time to explain this to me, bud. And if there's alternative explanations, we can talk about them in the comments. This is just one person that said this, but it made a lot of sense, and I'm going to try it. And if it doesn't work, then we'll do something else. But evidently there is a bug in the current version of the game where Pops, and we definitely saw this, I kind of theorized this exact thing at the end of the last episode, Pops can't quite make up their mind what jobs they should be in. And so what I'm going to do is use the system, and I actually haven't messed with this too much yet, so it's kind of a fun thing for me to do. I'm going to prioritize energy jobs on all of my worlds. And that, it's not really going to change too much. It is going to mean that we have more of an energy surplus, perhaps at the expense of some of our other resources. But that's okay with me, because one of the things that's going to happen is that this will stabilize the kind of wild fluctuation, and, you know, again, we'll have more energy overall, which is really quite nice. It does mean that we'll probably lose some of our food and minerals situation, but again, I'm ultimately, I think I'll be okay with that. One thing I might do is just prioritize on some worlds minerals, for instance, like on, actually, here's an idea. Let's change things up slightly. On the worlds that I've labeled agro worlds in particular, we will have farming jobs be the priority. Because why would it not be that way, right? And we can see that already having an effect. We'll definitely have more of an effect once we unpause. This is an agro world. Olympia is an agro world. And this will at least stabilize the economy a little bit. Right, and this is a tech world, but we still want to set that job to the main priority, as well as here on Nisa. Let's go ahead and close these sectors. Outliner, and there's that. The last thing that I want to act on, we're 5 minutes in, I haven't unpaused yet. I know, I'm sorry. Last thing I want to act on is I did figure out what was going on with the slave market in the last episode. There are no instructions on this screen, so I think Paradox kind of assumes that you'll see both components of the screen and know exactly what to do. Obviously, that didn't happen with me, but all you have to do in order to get those buttons to come up is select a world that you want to send the slave to. Makes sense, right? So we want to pick a world that has lots of extra housing, so not Earth. And also, preferably, I would imagine, doesn't have unemployment. Nova Egyptus has unemployment. Ascrivium does not. So let's send the human slave. We're going to buy them. We don't have a lot of energy, but we're going to buy them anyway. There they are. We're going to send them to Ascrivium. And of course, this does mean we have one wasteful human pop again, which is kind of annoying, but we can fix that pretty quickly. And what I hope will happen the moment this occurs, all right, that just slashed our energy reserves, unfortunately. Let's let the game simulate for just a second. All right, so maybe at the end of this month, I want to see what my totals change to. Let's all watch with bated breath. Speed 2, please. Guarantee revoked. Okay, there we go. Energy surplus has come back. We have a minerals deficit at the moment, but hopefully now our economy will be less chaotic than it was at the end of the previous episode. So, that being done, let's go down to speed 1 while we make a few changes here. The Mandasur-Asari Union is no longer a valid rival for our empire. Oh, that's a shame. We'll hold that thought. Who else can we rival? If we look at the Roman Star Empire, we only have... Actually, we don't have a third race that's rivaled us. All right, so we've rivaled the Vetericius Confederation. We know that much. And the Dabulan Free Traders. So maybe we don't have such an ambiguous relationship with them. We've rivaled them. Now, the United Juranshu Coalition we have a good relationship with at the moment. What about the Izki Alliance? We don't have a good relationship with these folks. You can only have 3 rivals at one time. Well, I was just told that I don't have a valid... What are you talking about? Okay, so for whatever reason, it's not letting me rival a third... That's odd. We'll return to that in just a second. Let's go back to what I was just looking at. So we have a bit of a housing issue here on Earth, and I don't know that we're going to be able to resolve it easily. We might be able to build some additional housing once this final slot opens up, but we need 5 more pops for that. So one thing we could do is go to our decisions panel, and we could... expel excess population. That would be one way to do it. Temporarily reduces stability by 10. Not a huge fan of that. But Earth is pretty stable at the moment. All right, we'll return to that if it continues to kind of plague us. But for now, let's keep an eye on this. Ascrivium only has unemployment in secondary jobs, so we'll leave that be. We definitely want the mineral purification plant to be stepped up here. I'm going to hold off on avoiding these until my mineral deficit is in slightly better shape. Yeah, same there, same there. All right, here, though, it's a bit of a different situation because we need more housing. So, tell you what, I'm going to go ahead and build another mining district because there's only slots for 2 there, and that'll be it, and I'll never unlock any more. Okay. Oh, yes. Okay, now I see what... Okay, that's awesome. I see what one of the... Thank you for that. That's such a visual... I could have seen that visually and caught on a little bit sooner, but I had someone in the comments point out the difference between the different job colors, and I've read the comment, and honestly, I was like, yeah, I know that. I know there's different logos, but it never occurred to me that you can look at the logo that's right here and without going to the pops section tell that it's a specialist worker or ruler job. So shame on me for not picking up on that sooner, but thank you for pointing that out because now I'm seeing it and I'm like, oh, that's what they're talking about. So, all right, Hyperborea, you do have an additional slot for building stuff. So why don't we go for, since this is a newer colony, let's go ahead and do an autoton monument there. And yes, we want to upgrade that mineral purification plant. Now you can build additional specialist jobs. So in this case, this looks like it's going to be a mining world because there's tons of slots for that. And we don't have too many mining worlds built yet, so we'll go with that. This is a ruler class pop. Yeah, that's a really handy thing to be able to read properly. Now see, when it's 2, what does that mean? Is it 2 of that, or does it show, we'll have to see. It might show a different number. I would imagine what it would do is, if there was an unemployed pop in both specialist and workers, well, I don't know that that would happen very often because if you think about this, no, that could definitely happen. Never mind. If you're out of both one, if you've got one specialist level pop and one worker level pop, so what would happen is you would have this triangle with the one next to it and then this triangle with the one next to it right there, I assume, which might be why there's so much room here, like just of blank space, because there's more icons that can fill that. So I might be wrong, and you guys can tell me in the comments. But, okay, through hard work and experience, science, Marcia Sidonius has developed new skills. Great. All right, let's go up to speed 2 and let things simulate a little bit more, because we did so much review last episode. I want things to advance a little bit. Mandatory Star Union has closed their borders. Why? Why? Well, let's close our borders to you, sir. So the Mandatory Star Union is over here, and now it seems we can declare them a rival. So we're going to do that. And they can just deal with it. Scientist Marcia, yeah, Sidonius has leveled up. We knew that. We just need 250 influence and we can reform our government. It's all quite good. We're still upgrading our ships here. Let's also take a look at that really quickly. I'll keep the game running, but we haven't revisited our ships since this new playthrough started. And just a reminder of what our classes are. We have the Velox Missile Boat Corvette and the Vespa Picket Corvette. We clearly don't have a standard just attack corvette, which is kind of interesting that we don't. But then we have the Devera Artillery Destroyer and the Ion Gunship Destroyer. Then there's the Terminus class. Looks like artillery, slight artillery and broadside.
Construction complete.
Okay, we have a bit of an energy deficit again, so economy's still not completely stabilizing, but it's definitely more stable than it was before. So the Terminus class artillery cruiser and the, looks like Jupiter class missile cruiser, and then we don't have any battleships yet, so those will probably be where I have my hangars and such. And of course we have several different defense platforms. We have the Asta, Pugio, Lancia, and Spatha. So there's a medium, a point defense, a missile, and a light, and I don't know that I had built too much with those yet. But yeah, now I'm looking at my energy situation going, guys, what you doing? What's going on?
A new world has been secured for our colonists.
Capacity overload will probably help. Also, yeah, the new colonies being established will also help our energy situation, I imagine. All right, so we'll leave things as they are for now. Riget needs specialist jobs, which we'll eventually have. All right, we finished energy credits from technicians with that 20% boost. That's very nice. 0-point reactor is tempting as hell, but before I do that, let's go ahead and unlock the plasma thrower since it's not going to take too particularly long. God, it's such an obvious visual detail, but I can't thank... and I wrote down the name of the commentator who pointed out the economy bug, but I didn't write down the name of the commentator who told me about this. But still, thank you, sir, for pointing that out. I'm sure others have pointed it out to me in the past, and I just didn't quite catch on to what they're saying. It's amazing. Communication really is an amazing thing, like especially on the internet, in terms of the ways that things can be misinterpreted and glossed over and not quite understood the way that you meant them. So if one of you tried to tell me that like months ago and I didn't pick up on it, I'm sorry, I'm only human. So let's see, we have a couple of choices to make here. Cyto revitalization centers will increase our pop growth and provide more amenities. We also get the food processing centers, possibly. It looks like our energy situation fixed itself again. That's good. Yeah, let's go for Cyto revitalization centers. And then engineering-wise, this will improve our replica complexes, but I think I would like to go, well, let's actually do anti-gravity engineering, because we have a crowding issue on some of our original worlds, and one of the only ways to fix that is to increase the amount of housing generated by these. And this will actually give Earth 4 more housing, which will temporarily fix the housing issue on Earth. So that's good. That helps. Let's take another look. We'll let the game keep simulating, but we'll take another look here and see. Yeah, Hades is also having a bit of a crowding issue. But this is a newer colony as well. So hang on, we need energy to clear these blockers with, but we can do that. Almost to 250 influence. Interesting that our mineral situation is what it is. I would imagine it's just because of the amount of alloys that I'm currently producing. So let's pause for a moment and see if we can't fix it out in the world. We have a resource silo here. Now the Runa station doesn't really have anywhere. Okay, actually you can definitely build that mining station. That'll help with some energy. But the Runa station here is a shipyard kind of bordering the... Which sector is this? So this is the Sol sector, our core sector. So we could do another hangar bay to reduce piracy. Let's do that. And then I think what I would like to do, since this is a shipyard, is build a fleet academy for you. And then the Baidan shipyard is where? Similar location. Let's do the same. And we'll revisit what those last slots are going to have before long. Okay, Riador, I want to go ahead and upgrade you so that we can build another trade hub, because there's some trade value that's not being collected just yet. And here we're going to do a nebula refinery because we bloody well can. And then the Zoldior station is building an off-world trading company, which is great to see. Naval Logistics Office will boost the naval capacity bonus from our anchorages, so we'll go for that. And then maybe have more to do there later on. We can also upgrade. We certainly have more star fortresses to create. So why not go ahead and start doing this as a way of bolstering our economy? I'm going to bolster my shipyards first. I also have Antak Ram with some trade value to collect. That's handy. I probably am going to go for volatile land clearance here. Actually, we don't have a lot of volatile moats. We're currently losing some. We'll have to look into that momentarily, but okay, I think Autoton Monument here, so we continue to produce a lot of unity. And Aurora is going to be ready for an upgrade soon-ish, but before even that, we need another Autoton Monument here too. So let's go ahead and do that. But we need more minerals, which I can do. Let's obtain those through, yeah, I can sell some of the resources that I'm doing better with. Yeah, now I've got a ton of energy. Much better. With that being done, okay. So now that I've got that, we can do that, or we can definitely buy some minerals. That's what I was going to do. For a second, I was like, what was I going to use all that money for? Let's buy 5,000 minerals. And with that, we can upgrade the colony hub there. I think the crowding issue can be fixed here. Emerita is definitely going to be an energy generating world. I can tell you that right now. Let's build a generator district there. Yeah, we've got the Autoton Monument building here, and there is some unemployment on Scythia, so that might change because we're building a new building that we're constructing a new building that will allow that worker that's unemployed to move up into the next strata. Okay, Hades, however, just has a housing problem right now. We need to clear some of these blockers too with some of the money that I've earned, so let's do that. Where else have we not cleared blockers? Let's go ahead and clear that so we have the isolated valley for an alien zoo. That's particularly expensive to clear, so I want to be careful about that. Let's see if we can clear some of the highest priority tiles. Things that will give me a lot more to work with that I need. There's actually, there's a lot of blockers I haven't cleared. I'm kind of ashamed of myself right now, to be completely honest with you. But let's go ahead and clear that one. That's going to be a farming world. So we've got a deep sinkhole on Colonia Scandia. But that's... Well, no, it's not because of a negative modifier on the planet. I'm not sure why we're seeing that. Alright, we don't have subterranean colonization unlocked yet. Yet another... Yeah, we're not going to hit that for a while. One of the really nice things about this particular part of the interface, and it's been this way in Stellaris for a few patches now, but one of the greatest things is that this really gives every planet its kind of own identity. Like, you can see more of what's going on the surface of the planet. We don't literally have a rendering of the planet's surface yet. It'd be great if Stellaris had that eventually. No pressure paradox. That's a rather large addition to the game. But just so that we could physically see all of these features in a three-dimensional way, but it still gives every planet kind of its own feel, kind of its own personality, if you will. Let's clear a few of those. I do have to watch the energy that I'm spending. Also, do I have a faction right now that gives me solid liquidity bonuses if I stay above 5k, like the one we have in Legacy of the Forerunners? I think I do. I'm pretty sure we do. So I'll have to keep an eye on that too. Yeah, I don't know that I have any other blockers that I have to clear right now. So I'm going to leave that as is. And we'll let simulation take over again. We'll go up to speed 3. And almost, we're doing this before the end of the episode. We're going to reform the government in just one more month. Research-wise, how we doing on that extra housing? 16 months away? Okay.
We have claimed a new world.
Good. Yeah, I think some of our energy deficit was just due to the fact that we were colonizing so many worlds at once, and we still have more colonizing to do. But I remember going for those planets
Science Division
as some of
success.
the most important ones that I wanted to lock down. All right, research speed plus 5%. I'd say, yeah, let's do that ASAP. And now let us reform the government. So if we take away technocracy, because we can no longer use it, we are currently a police state, which increases our stability, and enforcers provide additional unity. And we're an efficient bureaucracy, which gives us additional administrative cap. Now, we could go for aristocratic elite. We can go for Byzantine bureaucracy. Now, the reason I don't go for Byzantine bureaucracy, we talked about this in the opening, I think, or at least when we were going for new civics, maybe in the first Roma Galactica II leg. It's a little bit too communist for me compared to the lore. If you go back and, again, if you look at what the Roman Star Empire in this backstory is, it doesn't quite fit. So, I mean, yes, there's a thematic connection because it's Byzantine. You know, the Roman Empire, what was left of it, eventually became the Byzantine Empire. True enough. So there is a narrative connection there. You're right, but just there's another narrative thread that's highly inconsistent. That's why I don't do that. Corvée system, additional pop growth from immigration. Nah. Cutthroat politics, edicts would be cheaper. That's actually, that's tempting. That one right there. Distinguished admiralty, increases ship fire rate and fleet command limit. Environmentalist, pop consumer goods upkeep. That would be a nice advancement to the fact that we are no longer wasteful, but it would be somewhat redundant because we're already no longer wasteful by modifying that out of our own genetics. So how much more do we need, to be wasteful? Also need to check on that slave before the end of the episode, don't we? Make sure that they are no longer slaves, really. All right, so mining guilds would help fix our mining problem for sure. But that might be a silly thing to use a civic on. Merchant guilds. Capital buildings provide merchant jobs. Merchants also produce 2 unity. Reduces build costs and upkeep for all buildings and districts by 10%. So I like an upkeep reduction. Is that new? I don't remember the upkeep bonus being there for functional architecture before. That really makes that more powerful. I like that a lot. Philosopher King gives us additional ruler level cap. And then, of course, Slaver Guild slave output is improved by 10%. I don't know. I think I like, and then I forgot about this one, Nationalistic Zeal, War Exhaustion Gain, and Claim Influence Cost. Now, that's not the worst, but we already have an Ascension perk that's helping us with Claim Influence Cost, so that would also be a little bit redundant. I think I like Cutthroat Politics. There's also Aristocratic Elite. That would reintroduce nobles into society, which wouldn't be entirely narratively unfitting. Huh. Okay. Yeah, I still like Cutthroat Politics the most. Distinguished Admiralty is kind of nice. Functional Architecture, this might be the one. Edicts being cheaper. Across the board for the rest of the game. Or do I want something to reduce build cost and upkeep for all buildings and districts by 10%? You know what? Let's go for Cutthroat Politics. There we go. All right, we've selected it. Oh, wait. Oh. We can't reform yet. Seriously? Is it because we selected our last... It hasn't been very long since we added technocracy. We must have done that near the end. Oh, that's frustrating. Yeah, we must have done... Oh, this is totally A-Spec's fault. This is totally all on A-Spec. Dude, you proposed this awesome change at the worst possible time for my series. How dare you? How dare you? I say it with love. Like 95% love, 5% hatred. But yeah, I think that's what happened. And we can go back. Those of you that have watched the end of Roma Galactica II, the first leg more recently, can confirm this if you like. But I think that's what's happened. It's been too recent that we added that third civic. So it's going to be a while before we can change it, which means we can use that influence for something else at the very least. But let's make a few more changes here, and then I've got to end this episode. Let's see. We've got the planetary capital words upgrading. What else can we do? We can do an energy grid here on Augusta. This is currently an agri-world, though, so I feel like a food processing facility makes more sense, given that it's, an agricultural world. Any housing issues I'm going to overlook for the time being. I'm just going to overlook them because we have that research project that is going to help with that eventually. So it's mainly minerals that we're looking to bring into our economy right now. Okay. I'm going to stop this episode here. In the next one, we're going to let the simulation continue to run a little bit more. We're going to leave this inactive civics notification up just as a constant reminder that we do need to let that happen. It's going to be in 2315 that we do it. It's going to be a while. But we have Classes 1 upgraded again, and they are just moving around, patrolling some of the major piracy lanes. And we'll have to double check again soon to make sure that we have them in the best possible systems. But we're going to continue to grow the Empire internally as best we can, and also move towards restoring, once we have the energy to do it, the sections. Oh, look, it just costs alloys now. Good to know. 10,000 alloys. Didn't it used to be an energy cost, guys? I think it was energy, maybe energy and minerals, but now it's just alloys. Cool. And it takes a long freaking time. But we need to start restoring Cyberx Alpha for sure as well. But that's all internal expansion. And at the same time, as we build up our naval cap, and as I mentioned earlier, as we raise our administrative capacity, which will help reduce those penalties you see there, we can build up our fleet and possibly think about taking over like the United Duransu Coalition or our rivals, the Dabulan Free Traders. We just need to be a little careful with who we attack first, and I want to continue getting my feet wet with the series now that we've, dove back in after so long of a hiatus. Before we declare war on anyone, I want to make sure I know what's going on and that I'm making the right decision. So hopefully you guys are with me on that. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this one, Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to follow along. New episodes are coming out every day at 4 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time. Comments are always welcome. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you next time.